This is Brad A.Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where business owners share their wisdom. It's short and to the point because we respect people's time and because we know transforming possibility happens fast and it leads to lasting results. So let's get to it. Question number one. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Thanks, Brad, for having me on, buddy. Yeah, my name is Dr. Rob Bell. So I'm a sports psychology coach. And what I do is I work with athletes, coaches, and teams on mental toughness. So how do we perform our best when it matters the most? And then the other part is of mental toughness is how do we handle, and cope with that adversity, struggle, and setbacks. And as you know, right, it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when and what it looks like. And you know, one of the things I always say too, man, is like everyone is an athlete. Our office is just different.
I love that. That's really powerful. Short, brilliant, to the point, powerful, man. Thank you. I appreciate what you do. And I love the way you put that too, because everyone is an athlete in their own right.
Absolutely, man.
Question number two. What's the best thing about being in business?
So obviously everyone always says freedom, right? Freedom and time. And I totally agree with that. And then so thinking about that and kind of marinating on that question, I think about a couple of things. One, it allows me to run every single day. And that's a staple of my existence is being able to exercise and work out and get after it. But I always say the big thing is this, and plus it allows me to write every day. But the big thing is this, is even though we're going to miss shots in life, I still want the ball. I still want the opportunity to be able to take that shot, and being an entrepreneur gives you that opportunity. You can take that shot if you want it. A lot of people don't want it, right? A lot of people want to play it safe. And I just, man, I want the black diamonds in life, man. I don't want those easy runs. And even though we're going to fall, that's sort of the fun part. So I want the shot. I want the ball in my hands. And Gil Reyes, this was Andre Agassi's strength coach. He always said this one. I thought was an epic quote. He's just said, some battles are worth fighting, even if you lose. And I always thought about that, man. And that was like the journey, the process becomes more important, and the journey that we're on to be able to help other people.
So powerful. Well, you got some deep nuggets in there, all rolled up like in a very short time frame. That is sincerely really powerful. Like there is power in just walking through all that process, and just it doesn't matter whether we fall and all that. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Question number three. We hear, and I like to preface this, even though it's COVID, like especially in the digital space, and it's not just digital. I feel like there's people that have different perspectives, and I almost say like people live in different worlds, right? But now we're seeing that so many businesses are getting so much business right now. I see a lot of that right now. I know not everybody's in that space, and my heart goes out to you if you're not. But sometimes that business is causing like some overwhelm because there's an influx of business. Can you share your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. You know, as a coach, and I tell anybody who's really going through the ranks in terms of, you know, coaching themselves, I mean, if I didn't charge, but I'd be booked solid all the time. But I don't think I'd be as effective. And the reason why is because, you know, we measure what we treasure, and what we really treasure in life, we value. And it's the ability to be able to say no. You got to be able to say no to the clients that, you know, maybe you can or can't help, but to be able to say yes to the important ones. And then the other part of that is, I mean, you have to know what your worth is, and you got to be able to charge your worth. There's going to be people that say no all the time to coaching because it's too expensive. But I get it. But it's not about those no's. It's going to be about the yes. So that's what I always say. Like if there's too much chaos, then we're saying yes to too many different things. And it's difficult to say no. I'm a people pleaser. I want to be liked. I want the affirmations, but we got to be able to say no. And then we have to be able to charge what it is that we're worth. When we do that, then I think that's the ability of working with those that we specifically want to work with. And that's where I think then we make a more meaningful impact. And that's in my business.
I love that answer. I want to share this with you. Well over 50 episodes, you're the first person that has shared that particular perspective. Like if you're getting too
Wow,
much
awesome,
business, you're
man.
saying yes to too many things. That is a great perspective. Thank you for sharing that. I love it. Question number 4. What other successful business owners, this is always fun, like yourself, because I know you're a seasoned business owner and we all have like long lists of people, right? But what other successful business owners like yourself, Dr. Rob, would you recommend for the Unlimited Wisdom podcast?
It's a great question. It's a great question. I mean, I think there are a few. I think JD Gershbein's a great one. Coach Brew, John Brewbaker is fantastic. Luke Tyberski, he's a Brit, so he'd be a good one if you need an affable Brit that's going to be on the show. They're always witty. Eddie O'Connor, Dr. Eddie O'Connor is fantastic. And then 2 more. Cindra Kamphoff, who's at Minnesota State, also a sports psychology coach, fantastic. And then Kelly Jones of F the Joneses. She's a travel hack entrepreneur and money savers. Really a lot of good tips there. And then Kim Smiley. Those are all fantastic people I follow and get so much information out of them.
Love it.
Great guests, man. They'd be great guests.
I knew going into this you were gonna have like a healthy list. I just knew it. I just knew. So I love that. I love how you said a little bit about what they're doing. It's a great way to give shout outs to people. So thank you. I appreciate it.
The number one was Suzanne Castle, but she recommended me, so I can't recommend her. But yeah, Sue's a good one, man.
Indeed, we were just saying what a great connector she is.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love me some Suzanne Castle. Love it. Let's get to the crux of this. It gets to some like business wisdom, right? So, what piece of wisdom would you share with other business owners?
So this is, and I was thinking about this one too, man, because I mean, there's a couple. And since I'm on the clock, I'll kind of keep it succinct. Number one is is every door in life has a hinge. A door without a hinge is a wall. It just doesn't work. And so what the hinge is in our lives, it's going to be that one person. It's going to be that one decision or one moment that makes all the difference in our lives. See, what it does is it connects who we are with who we're going to become. If we hear about doors opening and closing in life, that is simply because of the hinge. If you hear of a rusty door before, it's not the door that's rusty, it's the hinge that gets rusty. And the hinge in our lives, like I said, it connects who we are with who we're going to become. Now, we don't know how this mystery of life is going to work out. We can't connect the dots looking forward. We can only connect the dots looking backwards and seeing the impact that one person had in our life, that one decision had in our life. But when we think about the importance of mental toughness, the importance of our mental game, is no matter how bad our situation is, no matter how bleak an outcome looks, it only takes one. That's what we're getting ready for. We're getting ready for that one moment that we don't know what it looks like or who it's going to be, but that's what we're getting ready for. Now, that's the importance of our own mental game, is getting ready for that opportunity that we don't even know what it looks like. And the other part about it is sometimes we don't know the hinge connects sometimes to weeks, months, years later, the impact that one person or one client had on our life. But the tragedies that happen in our life, death of a loved one, significant injuries, they're immediate hinges, because from that moment on, everything is different. Everything has changed. Our perspective has changed. And it's the ability, I think, to be able to harness that and to see what is the good in these kind of situations that are going to help us, that no matter how bad things get, same thing, it's only going to take that one. That's the biggest information. And no matter how well people have it, we can always look back and see the impact that one person, one decision made on our lives.
That's really powerful, Dr. Rob. I appreciate you sharing that. And I love the way you illustrated that. So candidly, I talk about inflection points all the time, right? But the way you just described that and illustrated that shows the depth and level of what you do. Like, that is a really simple analogy, and it's great and it's powerful. I'd like to take that one notch deeper if you're open to it, because I know you've done a lot of work with people around this area. What is one piece of advice? Let's move from wisdom to like advice, or what's one suggestion for somebody walking through that when they recognize, they see this hinge, right? And so they're like, oh, there's this big moment that just happened, right? Whether it's a trauma or just a small hinge or a small inflection point. What suggestion or recommendation would you give them, just kind of off the cuff, if you would?
Well, I think a lot of times, it's only perspective and time can we see the impact. And this is what I always think that's so important is we kind of have these mountaintop experiences, right? That's what we want, right? The big wins, right? Love it, man. But the thing about that's so important is when we get on that mountaintop, however long it takes to be able to climb Mount Everest, it takes like 40 days of climbing, just climbing to climb Mount Everest. Most people die on the way down. And the thing about Mount Everest that's also important is even though it's like 40 days of climbing, they're actually at the top for less than 10 minutes. Right. And my point is this, is when those hinge moments happen, those fist pump moments happen, we can't live up there. Nothing lives up there on the mountaintop. We have to be able to come back down. And to be able to actually come back down, I think, is to appreciate the journey. And all I can say is that as well as these moments are, the process is still more important than that product ever is. It's not about like what we want or what we can achieve, but it's about who we are. That's the biggest thing I can always say. So when we do get on those mountaintops, man, that's definitely the time to be thankful. But all the growth that we're going to have in life always take place in the valleys and on the way down from those mountaintops. And so I always look at it too, when those mountaintops, those hinge moments happen, how are we then as an individual then? Because that's the time that I think really shows them, who we are as a person, as a family member. That's what really reveals it.
Love it. Really, really powerful stuff. I know we could probably take this and talk about this forever. So this is fascinating conversation. I appreciate it. Let's switch gears for just a moment, because I like to say that we work to live, not live to work. And so I like to talk about something fun. Not that this hasn't been fun, because this has been great. But let's talk about I'm curious, like, what's the best vacation you've ever had?
I think about this one too. We make it a point to take a vacation every year as a family. And we go to a different spot every single year. So sometimes Outer Banks, sometimes it can be Naples, Florida, but we'll find a different spot because, in the Grand Canyon coming up, next year. And we do this because I think these are the memories that we basically get to experience with the family. So it's really tough to say, hey, this is the favorite one that I've had, because everyone's a little bit different. But if I look at it too, it was probably the very first vacation that I was able to pay for everybody and pay for family to be able to come and visit. And that one just kind of sticks out because that was always a goal of mine, to be able to, celebrate and to share the successes. And that's the one that kind of sticks out, man, is, I think we're all in the same business as entrepreneurs, man. We want to give, and it feels so much better to be able to give and help other people out. Any one of those, man, it's just, but that's what we do, man. We take a different vacation every year. And the other part about this, and I'll share this. So it's not just the vacation itself. Like I was saying, the process is more important than the product. Research even shows this, that you have to start talking about it and building it up, not to like make this the mountaintop experience, but hey, what are you looking forward to on this? And to be able to talk about it that way, the vacation can start a month earlier when you talk about these things, and we always got something to look forward to. And that's I think the beauty in life. That's what fills our soul as well. And then afterwards, then you have the reflective points that you always do as a family. So the vacation, it's not just that week or 2 weeks. It can go for a month, 2 months, being able to reflect on that and make that a whole process.
Look at that. Anybody watching, anybody listening, he just can't stop dropping the value. Like, just dropping it left and right.
No, I learned from people like you, man.
I love it. I love it. It's you're still dropping the value. It's like, look forward to. We all need something to look forward to, but also reflect back and enjoy it along the way. I love it. That's so deep. I dig it. Dr. Rob, this has been great. I really appreciate the investment of your time and being here today. What is because I know somebody's going to watch this and listen to it, and they're going to be like, wow, I really have to connect with that guy. So what's the best way for them to reach your website, social media? What's the best way?
Yeah, my ADD is always on Twitter, man. So that's, Dr. Rob Bell, and also Instagram. So DrRobBell. And then my website is just drrobbell.com. And then my latest book that came out is pukeandrallybook.com. They can always get a hold of me there and be able to pick up a new book there, man.
I love it. Anybody watching instead of listening, I can see it right behind you. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to reading that. And I suggest you grab a copy too. So thanks everybody for listening.
Hey, let's do this too, man. Let's have one. You pick one of your listeners. They're going to reach out to you, say, "Hey, man, I really love that episode." Whoever does it first, man, you give me their name. I'll send them a copy of some complimentary copy of Puke and Rally. It's not about the setback; it's about the comeback.
I love it. There's a challenge. There's an offer. So first person to comment gets a free book. So jump on it. That's great. I love it. Still dropping value and giving value away. Like this is so representative of who you are. I love it. This is Brad A.Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where business owners making 5, 6, 7, 8. It's not just about the money. It's about sharing their wisdom and creating global impact. Thanks for joining us.